Think about it. Every single time you type a website into your browser and hit enter, you're basically performing a little bit of magic. You use words, right? A simple name like google.com, but the internet, it only speaks in numbers. So how does that name, the one you can actually remember, instantly become a number that a computer halfway across the world can find? Well, that translation is one of the most important and totally invisible processes that keeps us all connected. And this is the fundamental problem we're talking about. On one side, you've got our language, these simple, memorable names. And on the other, you've got the machine's language, this string of numbers we call an IP address. Now, both of them point to the exact same place, but they are speaking completely different languages. Figuring out how to solve this translation problem, well, that's what makes the entire internet usable for you and me. So how does this magic trick actually work? I mean, really, what happens in that split second after you hit enter? How does the name become the number? Let's actually follow the journey of a single request and pull back the curtain on the system that's running the whole show.
The hero of our story is a system called DNS. You can think of it as the internet's universal translator. It's the engine that bridges that gap between how we think and how machines talk. And it does this billions upon billions of times, every single day.
So, DNS stands for Domain Name System. And there are two words in there that are just absolutely crucial: hierarchical and decentralized. Hierarchical means there's a clear top-down structure for finding an answer. And decentralized? That's the real genius. It means there isn't one single computer, one single point of failure running the entire internet. It's spread out, which makes the whole system incredibly tough and resilient.
You know, the best way to wrap your head around DNS is to think of it like a massive, intelligent phone book for the entire internet. You don't memorize all your friends' phone numbers, right? Of course not. You just look up their name. DNS does the exact same thing, but for websites. It looks up the name you give it to find the right number, just on a global and instantaneous scale. Okay, so let's crack open that phone book. We're going to follow a single request from the moment you hit enter and see the incredible high-speed relay race that happens behind the scenes, all just to find one little number. So this search, it happens in a super logical cascade. First, your computer takes a quick peek at its own notes. It's called a local cache, to see if you've been to that site recently. If it's a new site, your computer asks your internet service provider, "Hey, can you go find this for me?" And that question kicks off a global search. It starts at the very top of the phone book with the root servers, then gets more and more specific until it finally finds the one server that holds the definitive answer. Once that final IP address is found, it gets sent all the way back to your computer. And here's the really clever part. To make things way faster for next time, your computer tucks that answer away in its memory, in its cache. This is what makes sure that this huge global search doesn't have to happen every single time you visit your favorite website. So we've seen how the phone book works, but who writes it? Who gets to add the entries? This isn't just a piece of software we're talking about. This is critical, global infrastructure. So who are the keepers of the system that directs all of our traffic all day, every day? Well, the thing is, there is no single entity. It's not one company or one government. It's actually this huge, vast, and surprisingly diverse global ecosystem of different players. And this right here gives you a fantastic snapshot of that diversity. You've got the massive US tech giants like Cloudflare and Google offering these really simple, memorable IP addresses. But then you've also got huge national players like Yandex in Russia, and even nonprofits like Quad9 based out of Switzerland that are totally focused on privacy. It's a truly global and pretty competitive field. Now, all these different providers, they have really different motivations. The tech giants, they often bundle DNS in with their other cloud services. Then you have others that build their entire reputation on a promise of privacy, vowing they won't log what you do online. And, of course, you have national services that might be influenced by regional politics. So the provider you end up using, it has real-world consequences for your speed, your security, and your privacy. For all its decentralized complexity, for all the thousands of companies involved, the entire global internet, every single domain, every website, ultimately points back to just 13. That's it. There are only 13 logical root server systems in the whole world.
Now, sure, there are hundreds of physical servers for redundancy, but they all just mirror one of these 13 master lists. This is the absolute peak of the internet's hierarchy.
And so we're left with this one final, incredibly important question. This invisible system, it directs nearly everything we do online. It's the gatekeeper. It connects the names we use to the numbers the network needs. And in doing so, it effectively decides which parts of the internet are visible and accessible. So given that immense power, who should get to write the entries in that global phone book? That's the billion-dollar question hiding behind every single web address you type.